So good morning, everyone. Very grateful that you joined us this morning. I want to acknowledge Commissioner Brandon Johnson, Commissioner of this district, Athena Williams, Rich Minacchio from the Housing Authority of Cook County, Sochi Flores, our Bureau Chief for the Department of Economic Development, Susan Buchanan and Dino Andrews, who are trustees of Oak Park. And I'd like to thank Lizzie Rangel and Michael Albert, who are our sign language interpreters this morning. Before I begin my remarks, I would like to thank again Athena Williams and the staff of the Oak Park Regional Housing Center for hosting us today. I'd also like to thank Richard Minacchio and his team of the Housing Authority of Cook County for their hard work. And of course, as I said, I want to acknowledge our Bureau Chief, Sochi Flores, and her team in economic development for working diligently through this time. Last week, the Cook County Board of Commissioners approved an investment of $82 million. That's $82 million in CARES Act funding to help residents and businesses through Cook County's Community Recovery Initiative. Since the onset of the pandemic, the Cook County Bureau of Economic Development has worked diligently to provide assistance to small businesses, not-for-profits, and gig workers struggling due to the pandemic. We launched a zero-interest small business and gig worker loan fund and a technical assistance program to help businesses access emergency funds through the federal Paycheck Protection Program, the PPP. We also provided emergency grant funding to homeless shelters in suburban Cook County to address urgent physical distancing concerns during the pandemic. Our Bureau of Economic Development has supported business and workforce development ever since my administration created the department in 2011. But when this pandemic ravaged Cook County and so many working families experienced hardship, we knew that we had to do more. If you're following the impact of the pandemic, it's likely you've heard about the disproportionate numbers of business closures in vulnerable communities. You might have heard about the 30% delinquency on mortgage payments and the staggering increase in layoffs. In Cook County alone, there's a 16% unemployment rate. And in the African American community, of course, that number is usually double whatever the going rate is. Scared renters are facing eviction when the Chief Judge's moratorium expires in just a few weeks. The number of people sheltered by homeless agencies continues to increase by nearly 320 million. That's 320 people per night. And Congress seems nowhere near ready to approve continued unemployment benefits. And this is critical for so many folks who have lost their jobs. The additional $600 a week in federal support can be a lifesaver. And we're facing the highest unemployment rate since the Great Depression in the 1930s. Based on the statistics I just shared, it's evident that the need remains critical and urgent. That's why we're partnering with the Housing Authority of Cook County to launch the Cook County COVID-19 Rental Assistance Program. The program is part of a series of new initiatives we will launch during the coming weeks to distribute $82 million in CARES Act funding. We prioritized rental assistance and funded it to the tune of $20 million because clearly the need is urgent. As the pandemic continues, we will continue to work diligently and do everything we can to help businesses remain operational, create access to critical resources, and provide residents with safe shelter and the resources to keep their homes. And now I'd like to invite Commissioner Brandon Johnson to the podium to say a few words.
Good morning. My name is Brandon Johnson, Cook County Commissioner of the 1st District. Thank you, Madam President, for your leadership and for being in the 1st District, though I will offer this caveat. People have a tendency to want to move here once they visit in the 1st District, so I hope you're comfortable where you are, but please enjoy the amenities of the 1st District. You know, it's a very terrifying time for many families in Cook County and throughout this country. As our President has already indicated, the social inequalities and the gross inequities that have existed for a very long time in many of our communities have been exacerbated by this pandemic and this crisis. What's actually very striking as we recognize that unemployment has reached Great Depression era numbers, that when our country faced those very difficult times a generation ago, our government did everything it needed to do, particularly when unemployment had reached 35% for white men. Our country called it a national crisis. And from that crisis, you had the GI Bill. White men had shovels to dig before there was stuff to even dig. I believe that was the right thing. But we're faced with that crisis right now, particularly within black and brown communities. The village of Maywood, 25% of Maywoodians are unemployed. It's a quarter of an entire village. And the frightening part is that in a couple of weeks, people will no longer have stability within something that's very basic and fundamental, and that's housing. I'm grateful for the leadership of Athena Williams and Rich Minacchio, who you'll hear soon. And I'm grateful for the President, Preckwinkle, for recognizing that this crisis requires government to act with all expediency. And so that the hope is that as these dollars are made available for communities to stabilize them ultimately, that we do everything in our power to not just stabilize them in this moment, but to create opportunities so that families can move forward beyond this pandemic. So again, I am thankful, I'm grateful. I look forward to those dollars being distributed in a very equitable way, so that again, the families that have already experienced homelessness and turmoil during this crisis can have a little bit of relief from Cook County. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Commissioner Johnson. Next, I'd like to ask Athena Williams from the Oak Park Regional Housing Center, who is our host today, to say a few words. Athena?
Thank you, President. As the President stated, my name is Athena Williams, and I am the Executive Director of Oak Park Regional Housing Center. And I'm here to tell you today that I am very, very excited to hear of the news that Cook County is designated funding to the suburban Cook County area, including Oak Park, including Forest Park, and all of our proviso townships, in addition to Cicero and Berwyn, to help with rental assistance, to help with mortgage assistance. This is something that our agency has been seeing in the past few months due to COVID as a crippling effect to communities and residents that we serve. And again, I am very happy and proud, so thank you, President. Thank you, Commissioner Brandon. Thank you, everyone that's part of Cook County for that effect. Let me tell you what we see in our agency. In the month of July alone, we took phone calls from over 800 individuals requesting assistance for rental, requesting assistance for mortgage help, requesting assistance for utility help. And as best as we could, we tried to connect them to the agencies that could help them. We tried to bring them in to give them the appropriate assistance they need to apply online. So we've been doing our part, and we are, again, excited that Cook County is doing their part. Let me tell you more about the work that we do here at Oak Park Regional Housing Center. Oak Park Regional Housing Center is a 48-year-old agency that focused on fair housing. Yes, we focus on fair housing, something some of you may have heard lately that's being rolled back. But as far as fair housing, we still hold true to the fact that everyone has a right to the human need of housing. Everyone has a right to go where they want to go, to be a part of that housing establishment. And we continue to push that forward. We do that through stabilizing home ownership. We do that through stabilizing rental. And now with the help of Cook County, we'll be able to help more individuals with rental assistance. In the coming days, you're going to see people who are going to need more rental assistance because the The extra unemployment has ended. The moratorium on evictions has ended. And we are here as Oak Park Regional Housing Center through all of our locations throughout the region. We have a brick and mortar in Austin. We have satellite office in Maywood. And we also have been establishing pop-up locations throughout the greater West Side region to let people know that we're here to help them, because in the coming weeks you're going to see an infusion of people that are going to be faced with evictions that are going to need more help. And with this help from Cook County, we're going to be able to help more people stay in their homes. I'm happy, I'm excited, and that's why I'm nervous. So if I was in church, I would say, everybody say amen, clap your hands. Thank you, President Preckwinkle, again. And that leads me to talk about partnerships. Without partnerships with Cook County, without partnerships from partners such as landlords, such as Roman Revere, who's here with GATA Association, without partnerships from my team is out here. I got my associate director, my housing counselors, my renter counselors, with my communications team, my communications consultant, the press card group, our board members, they're here. With all of our partners, without our community partners, we work with partners such as Housing Forward. We work with the Village of Oak Park. If it was not for the Village of Oak Park, and I have some of our trustees here, trustees raise your hand, Trustee Buchanan, Trustee Andrews, without our trustees, Oak Park Regional Housing Center would not be in existence. Again, we are happy, we are excited. Thanks again, President Preckwinkle, and I'm going to turn over the mic.
Thank you very much, Athena. Next, I'd like to ask Rich Minacchio, who is the Executive Director of the Housing Authority of Cook County, to address us, and welcome Michael Albert, who is our sign language interpreter.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
Thank you very much, President Preckwinkle. It's an honor to be here today to be part of this wonderful program that's going to help so many struggling renters in Cook County pay their rent during unprecedented times. It's our goal, of course, to get these applications in as soon as possible and get the money on the street as quickly as possible. But this is an important day because there's a lot of competing priorities in a time like this, and things like this don't happen without political will. So we're fortunate to have a president who has always made affordable housing, especially for those who need it most, a hallmark of her leadership. Cook County's funded tens of thousands of affordable units on President Preckwinkle's watch. So it only stands to reason that during a period like this, the county would have a program that helps the most vulnerable renters stay in their homes and weather out this pandemic and get on their feet when times get better. So again, it's a privilege to be here and be a part of this program, and we can't wait for it to get started. Thank you.
Thank you, Rich. Sochi Flores is Bureau Chief for our Department of Economic Development, and the program will be housed in her department. So I'd like to ask Sochi to come and talk a little bit about it.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you. Thank you for joining us today. I would like to thank Athena again for hosting us and being such a great partner. She spoke of partnerships, and that is critical during this time. The only way that the county would be able to step up to the plate and be able to get these programs up and running are through strong partnerships such as that with the Housing Authority of Cook County and our housing counseling agency. So I appreciate the partnership. Since the first days of the pandemic, the Cook County Bureau of Economic Development has mobilized to address the most critical needs of residents and small businesses, specifically within suburban Cook County. We quickly provided emergency funding to suburban homeless shelters as they adapted to the new demands for shelter in a COVID-19 pandemic. We also formed a national partnership with the American Business Immigration Coalition, the Illinois Restaurant Association, and the National Partnership for New Americans to work with our small businesses and provide the guidance that they need in order to access the many funds that are being provided by the state and the federal government as well as Cook County. But as the spring and the summer rolled on, it became clear that the greatest challenge facing our communities would be for residents to stay safely within their homes. Our Bureau quickly developed a comprehensive strategy to keep families in their homes by providing direct rental assistance, as we are discussing today, as well as mortgage assistance and eviction prevention and housing stabilization programs that we will be unveiling in the coming weeks. Our goal is to help those who are the most vulnerable and most impacted by COVID. As a result, we are doing very targeted outreach to communities of color, residents, families with children, veterans, and persons with disabilities. We encourage people who need support to reach out to housing resource centers like the Oak Park Housing Resource Center. You will find a listing of other resource centers that we partner with on our website. You can also sign up for our newsletter and get updates on these programs that we'll be launching over the next few weeks. So these can be found at cookcountyil.gov/recovery. Again, cookcountyil.gov/recovery. In the coming weeks, Cook County Bureau of Economic Development will launch several new initiatives to provide additional small business, manufacturing, workforce development, housing, food access, and other critical social service supports. And as the year moved on, Cook County will continue to diligently work with our public, private, and philanthropic partners to make more resources available to all those impacted by COVID-19. Rest assured, we are committed to continuing to roll up our sleeves and address those needs that we know that every family member right now is struggling with. So Cook County is here to support you. Thank you, President Preckwinkle, for your vision, and we look forward to this continued partnership.
All right, thank you, Sophie. All right, thank you, Sochi. I think we're going to take questions. Is that right, Nick?
That's right.
So do you want the phone back or what?
Let's do folks who are here first.
Okay, yes. All right. Who are we going to have answer that question?
So the program is going to be it'll be open for a week. It'll be on the Cook County So we expect this program, first of all, to help thousands of renters in Cook County. The main requirements are that before the pandemic, you had to have an income that did not exceed 80% of the median. So in Cook County, for a family of four, that's around $72,000. So a lot of people are going to be eligible for this program. You can get up to 3 months of rental assistance, and the cap is $4,500. So this is not insignificant. So for example, if you had if you're 1 month in arrearage and you owed your landlord $1,500, that would be paid, and then your next 2 months of rent, totaling $3,000, would be paid. So it's going to be online through the Cook County website. There's also going to be a special phone number for folks to call, and delegate agencies like the one we're at today are going to help publicize this program. The money will go directly to the landlord.
All right, do you have any other questions? All right. Who else is present who has a question?
Yeah. Does anybody else, any other reporter questions here?
All right, go ahead.
We have Alice from the Tribune on the line.
All right, Alice.
Sorry if you already asked, I couldn't really hear, but what's the minimum or maximum number of households you anticipate these funds will go to?
All right, the question from Alice is, what's the minimum or maximum that number of folks that we think might be helped by the program? Do we have a universe? Rich Minacchio.
Hello. The maximum number would probably be in the neighborhood of 7,000 households that we could help, depending on the amount of rent that the eligible family needs.
Okay, thank you.
Welcome.